Good morning, folks. It's 5:44 a.m. on the sixth day. Oh, no, fourth day of the 6th month of 2025. Yes, I'm going to verify that I'm actually live because a few times that has never occurred. And when I click the button, it says I'm live, so let's just roll with it. And I should be able to see your comments. Right, what I'm looking at here is now. And what's going on? Yep, sound is verified. Yeah, I have to check these things lately. It's been kicking out my life. I've been coming over here and finding that it just stops. So we're lucky today. So pressure's pretty low in this one here for this time of year, as this winter event is about to unfold, and it'll be a winter event. It's bringing some real cold air up through like Invercall, and it's directed a lot of the flow. Uh, it's in that big beam that I showed earlier that was frying you guys, and I might even show that now. And what I did earlier is I went through and looked at your med service, and I saw uh, that the radar over here in Christchurch was beaming the wind flow to hold this storm to do what it's about to do, the clobberings that you're about to get. And boy, is this going to help fuel the winds. And that's not a glitch. It had an effect on the weather. I'm going to close this particular one out. You can see here where it says that the next round is fueling the winds, and it's going to be a major event. You actually have two events coming in the next few days. You also had this beam in here, and this is the one that shows the big devices. It parked a scalar square right off the coast here where my middle finger is, and the scalar square right over in Invercall, or however you pronounce that thing. Had a big fryer spot, and boy, did it put a fan of stuff out. So the low, which is here, is held in this inside the beam swath itself of this storm. And I have a big concern for earthquakes still. In that this area here where all this is intersected, as you do have some big devices here. I did take a moment and briefly load it up by the super darn that fired down here, and this is what did that big beam, because I recognized that particular signature in the moisture condensates of what could fall as rain. And it's out here in this field over here in New Zealand. And you could do a lot with that, and it could fire in any direction. Its main strength is to fire southward towards Antarctica at an angle that works in tandem with a Tiger device, as it's known as the Tiger system over in Tassie. I didn't see that one fire today. And the other big fires here. Now they moved the big domes of the spy base over here in Blenheim, but there's something else here as well. You see how those pads here have been removed? A few years ago, it looked like this, right? When I stood in front of there, because I went there in 2016. Not a very good picture that day. You see these big domes were there, but these are what you're after. See that big curved dish thing? That's a big boy, that one. Each one of those panels move. And somewhere back here is a heart field. But we got chased out, me and somebody doing the mission possible. It didn't get to succeed with the hard point. But this is what it looks like today. And they've taken those two domes out. But this is still here. And that's the Fry Daddy. Each of those panels on here can move independently. And it can fire very, very long distance. It's got other domes, such as your listening devices, communication devices. Well, a system is left up to its own devices. You never know what you're going to get. So I did a bit of quick homework for you, New Zealand, about that one to show you, where those things were. So I'm going to roll through now what's to expect, and have to go through temperature. I have to go through wind. This isn't going to be an easy one for anybody to be participating in New Zealand. Yeah, them beams are not nice to see. Arthur's Pass and some of the passes through from west to east are going to be unpassable. Bald tire people, Stay home. Don't be ruining it for everyone. Don't hurt yourself. Stay home. It's okay. Winter time's coming. If you ain't got your sheep in by now, you better get it done. You ain't got much time left. Open up pasture lands out there so things can move freely to the shelters they're used to. Winter time is arriving in a big way. The ski slopes over in the Australian Alps will be absolutely. I don't know if it's fresh powder or not, but it's going to start as a rain event, and then it's going to turn into quite a snow up there. So again, with winds, could make some conditions blizzard-like at times. In some of those mountain areas, you're going to be aware of that. Kaikoura, I'm expecting big batch of snow for you. Yeah, where they wanted that deep water port that you said no to, so the earthquake kind of lifted the land up to kind of make that happen. That was interesting how that happened. Yes, yes, yes. The geoengineered, the fires in Canada are absolutely in grid patterns going back every bit of 9 days. But that's a separate show. I get too upset, I start swearing. Where at this time of the morning, you go even keel. Even keels, they'll always getting held off that little island over there. Wai Tangi. Tangi Wangi. Tang, instant breakfast drink. Boom, Tangi Island. Fangy Tangy. If it had an H, yeah, it would be. I don't know how to pronounce that one. I thought it was called like Wednesday Island or something. Out here. There's devices on it. I got them on my maps. I'm not reloading it. Takes a lot of bandwidth. It was horrendous chemtrails out over the Darwin area today. You see that backside slide? That's what I call it when the chem comes back around. It slides in and gets you. The stuff deployed over in Sydney comes and visits Tassie. You do that corridor. To do that move there, that Tiger device down here will have to fire. Keep that sea hot. So the flow stays north of it. So I'm expecting a beaming event on the 7th and 8th, which they'll say is related to the sun. Man-made aurora is very common when you add EMF to chemicals in the sky. When the chemicals and elements annihilate, they'll give off a flash of light. And that light will determine what the chemical is. And I'm seeing like a rainbow of colors. It's like an experiment of sky glow going on over ice. I showed it the other day. I can predict when the CMEs are going to happen because I know when they're going to need it, a beam to move a storm. And then they use it as the sun as an excuse. They've been doing it for years. So I don't trust that NASA graphic. Sometimes they say there's sunspots on the pictures on the space weather. Like if I go here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Because space weather does matter. So we're told. But I can go over here and look, right? And down here where it'll show me, like right now it's a minor going on. I can go here and look and see what's going on. That's just temperature difference. It's very small temperature difference to yield what they call the coronal hole. And coronal holes are very common. And if you set the sensitivity to a certain way, you could make anything look dangerous. You can say 15 degrees and paint it red on a map and try to freak people out. Because that does happen. So if I go back to the space weather dashboard again, if I go down here and look at the sunspots, sometimes they don't match. Like I can go out and look at sunspots. I know how to make a thing to do that. So like if I don't see those, you take a box and put a pin in it, pinhole in it, and the light that shines on the back of the box, aim a camera and take a picture of it. If you don't see these spots looking the same, well, and that's not a lot of spots for solar maximum, I must say. Yeah, so, we have to look. Well, there's a big beam and come down the coast there. Look at that. Holding up that flow. They're getting ready to really give some totals to Thailand. Western side of there, 400 mils easy. Acapulco is going to get it. My village is going to get it. It's going to get the word out to them. So, let's continue watching the fuckery. But I just wanted to show you that. So the wetness is continuing. This is on Wednesday next week, on the 11th. You know, every few days you get a batch. Yeah, but it's going to lead to some fair decent snows. I didn't want to take you this far in, so I won't. My hand's not feeling perfectly great. I had an incident coming down on a bus. Wind gusts over the next few days are going to be deadly. You hear those words? I don't use them often. Deadly. So stay off the roads. Right? If he says it gets in more towards this color here, look up in here. These winds here, these gusts over 100 kilometers an hour. I told you last week to expect 130. 140 is not going to surprise me as this comes ashore. Even up there, some of the wind gusts coming through the valley over here, it's going to be pretty pleasant. It'll blow the house down. That's the big bad wolf. Yep. So you have to watch yourselves. This is not going to be a time to be doing the crossing of Wellington. They should shut the ferry in advance. And if that shuts in advance, maybe we can keep some of the cars off the roads that are going down to that crossing. Let's make this decision for them. Act like you care about the people. If you're going to hide the radar, don't hide the safety, please. Come on, New Zealand. You got a responsibility. I shouldn't have to do this over here from England. Because we couldn't predict this. My ass. Turn the radar off at Christchurch and maybe these winds wouldn't come up and around. I'll show you what I'm talking about. You've seen that beam earlier, right? Well, here's how it affected this storm. Here's how it's affecting it. Let me put this on white. It's easier to see. Zoom this. Oops. Right. I think I've got this a little too white. Right. Here's what happened. This thing came out in a fan like this, right? Caused the heated flow. This is forced up and around. And as it rounds the corner, its velocity will increase, just like coming off a turn 3 down onto a straightaway. Right, a bank. Coming down off the bank, you can pick up velocity. And you're racing, people notice. As it hits these mountainous areas and sticky up bits, if there's 2 of them, the velocity of the wind's going to increase. So, these areas where the big winds are, it's all being caused by that. And as this beams went out here, where was it to go? Slows back down and turns again. It comes back in and gets you. And without that beam happening here in Christchurch, that never would have occurred. The storm would have passed straight over the country. But it's being held. It's being maneuvered. That's right. And these gusts are deadly. I don't want you taking these lightly. I'll turn some of the pressures off. Take some of the pressure off. You see, this is not going to be fun. It's not going to be a quick event. See how the stationary right there in this one area? So the northwestern slopes are going to have the biggest impact of these winds. Yep. They'll be roaring through here. Right through the gash, upper and lower hut, just like I said the other day. Batten down the hatches, Masterson, look. But the gash itself, you don't want to be caught out there. I call this the gash. It looks like a big gash. The gash. It's going to be a very, very, very nice. It's going to be fucking a howling gash. Well, it does so periodically. But the geoengineers set you up. That Christchurch radar did it. Or I don't know if there's one in Birding's Flat or not. I just recognize a radar signature. And then there's more gusts coming in. The stationary winds sustain. See how you got the backside? So if your house was leaning one way or your tree was leaning one way, it'll come in on Friday night. It goes the other. And that's when the things will come down. That's when the crashing is happening. So watch yourselves. You got a limb over your house. You might have time to tie that sucker up. I don't know what to tell you. Other than say no to the Paris Agreement. Right? As we're going through the weekend. Now we're in New Zealand time. There will be about 6 a.m. on Saturday morning. When you'll be reading the funnies, kids trying to watch cartoon. What's hard to do when the power's out. You might want to cook up something that you can just eat. Or you could cook a hangy somewhere. You go hole in the ground, maybe you stay dry. You see how the storm's just staying right over the top of this island? So that's going to take a big beam to do. So I'll be watching that very closely. Maybe they'll have to have a CME X-flare or something on Saturday or late Friday to make excuse for what we're going to see beam-wise, that they have a trouble hiding. You can't hide your lies from our eyes in the skies if we just look with an educated mind. And this was a terrible situation to have to show, and it just, welcome to New Zealand, cold, windy, wet. Right, if you get any idea, now this is your actual winds you're going to be facing. And it's roaring. The highest one we find 78 kilometers an hour. Yep. Palmerston North, you're going to have winds over 25 geometers an hour. You work the geometer into it. That's 1.7 miles an hour in a geometer per hour. There you go, Adam. I worked it back in. Look at the winds out here, huh? You don't want to be in your walker that day out here. Hi. The Wanaka. That's a cool word. Wanaka. Ooh, -1 for Wanaka. The cold in the winter's coming in, folks. It is. You got some snows coming. Watch this. Yeah. I told you it's going to be lengthy. Because, you know, us Americans, some of us got some length. Yeah, right? There's some snows coming in due to passes. They're warranting information about. Yeah, I saw that. Very soon, too. Very soon. Arthur's Pass, you got problems. This is over through Monday afternoon. So we really, it cuts you off trade-wise as well during some of these times. But, you know, you guys are neighborly. And you got a second event come over there where they're Mount Cook. Iraqi. Is that like Turkish Rocky? Yeah, that's not good, folks. Not good at all. Yeah, get the sheep in the barn. Yep. Save those lambs. And then you got eyes high. You want to go skiing? Look at this powder. I'm hoping it's powder for you guys. Close to 90 centimeters. Yeah, it's over 2 feet of snow. It's coming fair quick. So you got the nothings. It looks to be over the weekend. They'll get that powder down on Friday. Okay, so get on up there. You got it fresh. Fresh geoengineered styro snow. I wouldn't want to be going skiing no more with all the fibers in it. Be interested in a statistic about Morgellons among skiers. Is it higher than it is amongst the general population? Because of their contact with the chemicals and the fibers in the snow that they call chaff, that my microscope reveals to be far from chaff. It's pathogens. I picked up a couple really wicked storms today that bear watching. One of them was cruising north over here. Looks like it's calmed down a bit by now. This one here was rotating. So I was expecting some hail from it. Let's see if we can get an accurate picture of it. See that there, the rotation on this cell? Imagine it's still continuing. Looks like it's tracking toward Wee-Wah. Wee-Wah. That's where they bake the cake in, Little Rascals. Not I be. That's a good crossroads to destroy. Yeah, they can use some smartening it up at that railroad junction. Down at the junction, you need a smart city camera to monitor everything you do. Here, have some Wi-Fi, free, just for you, to monitor you. Put them in your underwear. They can watch your shit. They're counting your wipes, man. Welcome to Agenda 2030 Smart City Chinese Internet Protocols. Where Bob Deal will no longer be allowed on the internet to give you forecasts because I'll disagree with the official state forecast that said you were going to have a sunny day or something while you were being chem-bombed out of existence. While you're getting chemically attacked with sprays from the sky like this, they want to blame you and a cow farting. But they don't want you to look up at Pine Creek. Don't look up and see these chem bombs over you, kind of a thing. Ain't this disgusting? Ain't this disgusting? Don't we need to take a broom and clean up the city or the politics? If you've seen the Mediterranean Sea, you'd vomit. Or maybe it's fish are vomiting. Would we ever know? Would anybody even care if they do circles and dots and crosses in your sky that's looking like a coffin? Draw dark magic in your skies. And that doesn't put a good vibe in my beautiful water, and bless this water that I'm looking at here. I want that water to know I'm its friend, and I'm going to defend my friends. Look at Cairns. Boomed! Red lynched by the cam coming to you, frying the Great Barrier Reef over here. Bzzz, bzzz, getting fried. Not many happy bubbles going on today from the seahorse. While our geoengineers are horsing around. Nice, beautiful, clear skies over Macayonet. A lot of runoff from the rains. Look right down here at Rocky. There's pollution. Like some flood. Yes, boy, did they put a heated light through here. Not much getting past that. Eyebrow beam right here. See that shape? That's the shape of a glitch. Where it came from about here. Yeah, it's about right. You have a radar here. See the beam sweat? So they don't have to put it on their radar for me to see what they're doing. I know. Scalar square here over New England National Park. So that ain't really good for It make you feel agitated, lethargic. Some people with fibromyalgia, they find excessive pains on days like today, pins and needles, eye twitches, and some people happen on days like today. That's another one of those pulse beams right here. Bzzz, the fryer's out in Vic. And you guys got some action coming down here that are going to bear knowing about. You know, you got snowstorms and such coming. So I've just covered New Zealand. And I'm going to go down to the corner down here and cover you guys. Weather down here. Well, hello down here. Well, if you don't agree with the government down here, they'll beat your ass with a club and spray you, burn you with fucking microwave weaponry. You know, do you expect to know this forecast, Adelaide? Have they told you yet that you about to rock and sack? I'm going to move it along. Okay. Now, starting here about Thursdays when I'm expecting some big winds for you guys too, which is going to make some localized flooding. Anytime you got big winds like that, you're going to get localized flooding. Right? New Zealand expect that too on top of the tides. I'm not sure what the moon phase is. We could find out. Well, let's let this just roll. I have coffee. Coffee's good. Coffee's great. Thank you. I love you, water, for making coffee today. I was going to take a lot of sky sharks to make this one. So as we get into your Friday morning, your rush hour times like that, Adelaide and them, you expect some decent winds and gusts on your road. Yeah, this is not the fun part. Yeah, we get regular sustained winds, 50, 60 miles an hour, but it's the gusts for the high-sided vehicles, you campers, that I'm concerned about. And it goes pretty far inland. Right, 74 kilometer an hour gusts. Might as well zoom out, let Melbourne see. Yeah, you guys too. Yeah, hold on to your baggies, Frankston, and your shopping carts. You could be sailing. Why did it do that? Yeah, like we need to see how bad the wind is over there in the ocean above where you're not. Yeah, hi, New Zealand. I have some gusts. Right, so I was over here on Thursday. Ouch, my hand hurts. See, some of these, this like mountains here. So I guess this is going up, butting up against those areas where they want the gold mines and stuff that you said no to. Hint, fucking hint. Yes, yes, they don't even want that fucking commercial. I hate that thing in the corner. I try not to hate things. This is your Gus. You're very, very, very high. Very, very high. Over the next few days. As it comes inland, should calm down fair. Then the gusts move here. So hold on to your tents, Canberra. See this? They don't tell you about these winds on these roads, do they? It's almost like they want you to not have cars anymore. They want them to have harm or higher insurance for climate chaos. Because of this place can't bear it over here, wants you to fear everything that they sell the cure for it. There ain't no cure for nothing, man. It's just life to live. A cure. Man, there ain't no cure in wards in a hospital. And if you don't know what you're doing, you practice, right? Well, they got doctors' practices. And they told me I can't talk about health without getting in trouble. Or have an opinion, even. And, like, informed consent don't matter no more. And, like, we're not to conjecture what we like. Are we allowed to discuss whether the virtues of chocolate versus non-chocolate? Is there going to be a lie against that, too? I'm going to shoot lint down again. Oh, look at them gusts out there. My goodness. It's not a good day to do that crossing. Yeah, right now, from Hobart, and that's about shut down as you get in the middle of the week. You don't be caught out here on the weekend. It's a mass breaker, right? But surf's going to be all up on this coast. Yep, great surf on that coast, so skiing in the mountains. So there's your fun forecast. Hey, Cost, did you see this? Look at this days here coming. Well, you got great surf along this coast here, like now. Mm-hmm. So let's continue to roll in the fuckery of it all. And then I'm going to show you the geoengineering, some more of the conditions that made this weather. And then I'm going to act like a banana and split. Boy, there's a lot of electrics out to sea. What's precious? So they got a high over Canberra. High pressure used to be clear skies. Remember those days? Those were the days, my friends. I didn't see cam-bombs that never ended. The sun looked orange, not blue like it does today. Yep. Those were the days, oh yes, those was the days. I see some cam-bombs and EMF fry in the corner of Australia to make a storm go their way. Yeah, you see these lines here? Those are going to be the wind lines. As they split this in, there's going to be some squalls through Geelong for sure. For sure, for sure. Yep. While kids protest oil by popping people's tires that are made from the oil they protest that day. Oh my God. Where went the brains, my friend? Down the drains, I said. They Peter Pets, if they hear something they don't like, that we say. They live the lie that they choose. They don't even know what gender to choose. My God. The stupid days. Hey, Melbourne, it's going to be a wintry type event, so watch yourselves on the road. You could see some sleet and such as like that going in through your Saturday morning drives, 12 noonish or so. Watch yourselves. And the mountains get the snow through the weekend, so there'll be some beautiful pictures of some festive, happy people there. Tassie gets the winter. The backside slide comes through Adelaide to give some more Kambami rain for give it extra flavor and nanomaterial into your wine. They could just track you walking down the road. You know, where did your wine you go? I mean, who knows? They even drink and drive. It'll be done that way. You got enough nanoparticles in you. You'll be glowing like a luciferase king. Yep. Are you a mask hole? If you got leukemia, someone understand you wear the mask. But you know what asymptomatic means? You're healthy. You have no symptoms. That's your goal in life. And if it's not your goal in life, then hypochondritis is your problem. You're a hypochondriac. But that makes a lot of money for people to practice on you. And more winter weather coming to the higher elevations of Tassie as we go through Sunday. Right? So winter is there. You know, cold is there. I didn't even do that part. There's a lot to cover because I haven't done an update in a few days. There it all is. Yep, here it goes there. Watch for the blue. Well, there's going to be some volatility up here. I'm looking at the temperature difference. But most of all, the water's been directed over toward Thailand. You see the cold down in the pocket. So if you ain't got your winter coat in by Sunday the 8th, well, then ask somebody. We'll find you one. That's right. That's how we roll around here. Yep. Get some blankets for some of the homeless people and stuff and help them. Get them some gloves, hats, scarves. Let's look after them. Sandwiches help. Homeless animals out there, put some food out for them. 5 below zero. This is a fun time for some of them people in the mountains, but if you're camping out around Canberra, you're going to want to know about that. -9, things like this. Yep. Winter's come to the mountains. Big pocket of cold over here. There must be a dip down in here that holds stuff. Cold air. I'll have to remember this. Well, that'll fit that into my weather forecast. If there's a trough somewhere, I need to know about it. Why did it hem up there? Well, that'll feed some air through Penrith in the path and add for some volatility to your storms. Your totals weren't like huge down there as far as accumulations went. Some of this is snow, okay? So think about that. But this is rain. So your coastal areas with those winds and everything, I am expecting some flooding. See, from the nothings to the something. So it's a weekend event, right? But surf will be up. You'll be down there. So looking forward to watching you guys. Yeah, big storms coming though. So if you're surfing in Thailand and that, it will be going on. Bali, you should have very good conditions for surfing. And the whamos. Right, so you guys got ready for this. You know what's going on. Other than that, there's nothing really huge to report on, which I'm happy to say, other than New Zealand. So you guys batten down the hatches and keep safe. And I want to do a little bit of a tour and show you the worldwide chemtrail problem that we've got going on. You still got a good amount of rain to come, New Zealand, okay? I don't think this event is done. Right about there, I'll call this event done. Right, so you still got quite a bit to come, quite a bit of rain. Okay, so I want to go to this part now, where I'm going to actually turn this off, and we're going to have a look at what the world looked like. I never know what I'm going to show. All I know is I'm going to show you our last family picture, and this is it. From here to here, this is all of us. This is our last family picture. What's the first thing you notice on here is there's a color here. It doesn't match the others. This is Canada burning. Canada has been burning for weeks, and I haven't heard nothing from people about this. The smoke has gone all down into the United States. It has come across the Atlantic and visited me. That's smoke and sand.
It's a whole different system that I can get do a show about free particulates, and that'll have their aurora glowing too. And they're doing a huge land grab here in Canada, and it's poisoning the entire northern hemisphere. And I have got to say that some of these fires look very, very gritty in grids. That's like at nighttime. If you put it in there, it looks more pell-mell, don't it? But it's not. Some of the maps I've got drawn that connect this fire to another one, it's hard to show these. It takes a lot of bandwidth, like road systems. And that's on the 27th. I'll go to the day. Look at this. Whammo. Because I've already loaded some of these. But this is yesterday's. Where you go here, look at the angles. It's impossible for Mother Nature to do that. That's impossible. This is a controlled burn. This is another type of land grab that gets people off of land that people said no to development of. This is the destruction of forests. This is the burning of animals on a scale of which is going unspoken for. And I'm crying inside for the animal that's right where I'm pointing. How did it get out? How did Bambi get out? And that's in a curved line of development. A corridor of rails, a corridor of trade, a corridor for pipelines, a corridor for whatever our oppressors asked for that you did not, other than you paying for it. That triangle there has repeated itself. Here, here, and inverted over here. Impossible for lightning to cause that. What's this? When you go through the days and nights, you very often see the differences of when and what. Like that straight line from here all the way here. Even with that gap missing, those lines line up. And with that one. And then line up with one over here. If I can get it on screen, because this takes a lot of data to run this part of the show. I can get it on. You know how many of this angle here of these two dots from here to here, here to here, here to here are going to occur in a row, or that particular isosceles triangle? Impossible. I had to keep seeing that. Unless a laser is firing it with a program from a computer that uses GPS. Now, if we go over here to Clam Lake, look like they're having a clam bake. This is going unspoken about. These trees are burning. There's animals in these forests are burning. And it's going unspoken about. There's Yowie out here. And they deserve to know that fires that they knew could happen because of certain lightning conditions would continue. But when motherfucker tries to play Mother Nature, you're going to get what a motherfucker gives you. And then you ain't getting motherfucking shit from a motherfucker but shit. Get my point on that? That's like the daytime. When you put it all together, she's pell-mell. When you separate the two actions, day and night, you see the geometry, you see the guilt carved all over the face of my planet and into come over the Mediterranean Sea. Now I'll turn some of the fires off because it just takes too long to load. We got poison like fuck. Look at Portugal here, Porto. Right, and setting them up, holding the smoke in the air for their lungs to not enjoy. As the pathogenic conditions in our sky continue, as the resistant ohm value of our planet changes, so does the amount of lightning that hits, so does the amount of auroric activity increases. Because of the geoengineering, these clouds are not fake. These clouds are man-made. You know, did every flight in Mallorca leave a trail, or is there so much shit in the sky that any jet that goes through this will make it condensate? Can the paths of condensation be directed by a radar? Yes. Can it be directed by a computer saying, you fly here, you fly there? Yes. Can the convections inside this stuff here be moved through jet plane activity? Absolutely. But do I think there's a nozzle on a plane doing that? No, I do not. I think it's done with balloons. I think it's done because we let it. As I go over like today, here resides today. I have to zip across to this side of the timeline. Look at this crap. Isn't that disgusting? Miles and miles of poisons over the oceans, of the fish that people eat as well as fish eating the fish. I'm always going to think about this because we do this to them who live on this land. We do this to Mother Earth. We do this because we do not say no more, no more. Are we the system's heart? We want to be manipulated. We want to be in fear because we allow it. You watch that news channel every night for the fear. And if you say, I want to see happiness channel, I will not watch anything else. You will get a happiness channel. You will not get a frying of a radar here with all these lines pointing right at Nelson Bay with a right toward Clyde right before your eyes. Dungong, or dung. Yeah, shitty sky over Dungog. That's hard to say when your throat is dry. In New Zealand, I think you're under here somewhere. Somewhere under this mass of crap in the Tasman Sea that's going over the top of you, indiscriminately poisoning things. Even our oppressors have this, but they have access to health care with their billions of dollars that we do not. They can fund inventions and even a med bed and then hide the tech. But they'll have it. They have their own dialysis machines to keep their blood clean. In many of the houses of governance, you know this is so. Yep, they have access to stuff you do not. That's how they keep their safety. How do they fry themselves? Less EMF-proof windows, EMF-proof paints and installations in the house. It's hard for you to afford. And I know how to make some stuff like that. And so I think I'll do a show at some point to tell you stuff that you can do for yourself to mitigate the harm of EMF. And it does cause great harm. And as 6G is rolling out now, we'll see more illnesses that they'll attribute to flu and stuff like this, which it won't be in my mind. It'll be your body cleansing the dead cells out. Like a boogeyman cloud. That's just a boom, 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 boom plume out here in the middle of fucking ocean, controlling the weather, whether you like it or not. You ain't got a bit of blue sky over here today, New Zealand, because the chemtrails said so. And as I'm looking at this square over the area of the gas that's about to have terrible damage in winds and the high earthquake risk for this area here, I've got to say, my heart goes out to you folks over the next few days. Stay safe. Stay home. Don't risk safety workers or your vehicles. There's nothing you need more than your life. Fuck your stuff. Big love. Stay safe. Peace. I'm trying to end the video. It's not letting me. Oh yeah.